Hello, I'm Brad Johnson, and in this video I'm going to be talking about awakening to a larger world of authenticity. When you're starting to move through these accelerative processes, when you're starting to realize that there's so much more to your reality beyond the five senses, you're going to notice an immense transformation taking place. You're going to see how your life is actually, vividly, lucidly, being shaped by your own consciousness. And it's just going back to those times of reflection, whenever we feel that it was the right moment for us to realize a bigger picture was there, that we're moving into a higher state of transformation, that we're moving into an ascension, an advancement in regards to how we understand ourselves, to see how everything else within our reality is shifting, from the people who we meet, from the friends that may change, even in regards to our connections to our family, to see how well we interact once we start to see more of the bigger picture. Has there always been a type of challenge, a type of turbulence when it comes to awakening? With many of the people I've talked to, yes, this does tend to happen. A lot of people experience these rough waters. They experience the rough tide coming in when they start to realize that there's more to themselves. They start noticing that their intuitive ability is just shining brightly. They start to notice that they're able to pick up on things relating to their perspective. They may notice that they're getting visions. They may notice that they're feeling clairaudient, being able to hear voices, etc. And yet they become very, very afraid because they don't understand what's happening. They don't know what's going on. In my own awakening in 2008, this was kind of a feeling that I had as well too. I was feeling that I was awakening very, very strongly in a very accelerating manner, and I really didn't know what was happening to myself. And at some times, it felt pretty scary because other people within my reality were not getting an understanding of what I was going through. They felt, oh my goodness, Brad is just starting to go off the deep end. He's starting to believe in this energy healing, and he's starting to learn how to develop psychic abilities, and he's learning how to channel energies. What's going on? Is he crazy? What's the problem here? The whole idea here is that we are looking at two different lives. We're looking at two different realities. We're looking at an old reality where we have our family, our friends that are used to the old us, that's still just very much related to the five sense reality, was only able to accept what they saw, smell, taste, touched, and heard. And then there's the new reality, where we're starting to see more beyond that, where we're starting to realize that we're having these really intense dreams at night, and we're feeling like we're being told to go another path. We're feeling like we're going into a transition. We're starting to talk to other beings of illuminated consciousness. We're starting to move into a more promising direction of self-empowerment. Altogether, we're moving into a path of authenticity. And those that are not there yet, those that are not following that particular type of authentic path, are going to question you. They're going to feel at first that they may ridicule you relating to what you're going through, that you just, maybe you're just going through a midlife crisis. Maybe there's just something in your life that you're using this as a compensation to something else that's not right within your life. And so they'll attempt to go into that state of ridicule or that state of denial and feel that something is with you. This can be a very, very challenging process, that as we start to awaken to ourselves, that we start to realize our own potentials, what do we do when people very, very close to us don't really know how to react? They really don't know how to see what we're going through, and this is just a little bit confusing to them. The whole idea here is that you're awakening yourself. You're going through your own personal state of evolution. You're moving into a self-empowered path of authenticity. Some people, unfortunately, may not be able to understand this. And you know what? That's all right. You can always share, you can always explain what you're going through as you start to understand it. but it is not a priority. It is not a criteria necessary for you to have to get other people's permission for you to live your own life. This is what happens on many occasions, is that if those particular family members or those particular close friends are not able to understand what you're going through, then what happens is that the vibratory physics in regards to the magnetics of themselves relating to their own personality and emotional states, and your heightened state of magnetics, your own heightened particular state of feeling, is going to cause a separation. The reason why this happens is because you are operating on a higher bandwidth of reality where the magnetic currents are fluctuating at a much more rapid rate. Whereas those who are still attempting to understand who they are, who are still very much into the five sense reality, are operating on a much more slower degree of magnetic current. And they are not able, they are physically not able to vibrate, to resonate with what you're going through. They simply cannot understand. You are basically exhausting yourself with time and effort attempting to explain. And so that's no longer the criteria. It's about being able to focus upon yourself. It's about following a path of least resistance. And what that means is that you're moving more into the alignment of where you feel you belong in life. Your own state of value is basically the description of how you are advancing yourself. You're seeing yourself in a much more higher light. And as long as you feel you deserve to be in that higher light, then the transitional process is going to feel a lot easier. But if you feel that you're caught up in the void of feeling that you're full of regret, you're full of guilt, and that you're leaving people behind, then you're going to have these rough waters. You're going to experience turbulence. So the key here is being able to come to terms with your feelings, come to terms with your emotions. Now, there's a fundamental difference between feeling and between emotion. This is why I've separated the two. When we're looking at the aspect of feeling, when you're going through the feeling process, you're going into the epitome of the experience itself in a form of neutrality, in a form of tranquility, in a form of bliss, in a form of love. Love itself is not an emotion. Love is a state of being. It represents your familiarity with all that is. It is isness. It is the spark in regards to everything that represents creativity. It is the idea of all thought contained into one. This is what it is to love, is when you have more familiarity with the larger picture and you're able to reach a state of high allowance, high acceptance pertaining to everything that you experience through the own facet of your creativity. This is the idea of feeling, is that you're moving into the green of the scale. When you're going into emotion, you're moving off into the yellow, the orange, and the red of that particular scale, whether it be negative or whether it be positive. Emotion itself segregates your expanded perception of consciousness. The reason why this is because when we become immersed in emotion, this becomes our reality. This little circle in between here, in regards to everything else that exists, this is what's getting our focal point. And so emotion creates a limited basis of focal point relating to a particular situation. So, for example, if you are very emotionally upset relating to a financial situation, that becomes your entire reality. Being in that little box where everything is about financial worry, financial trouble, financial upset, that becomes your reality. And you may be straining there for minutes, for hours, for days, for weeks, for months, or even years. That becomes your entire reality. This is what emotion itself does. As the universe relating to energy is all about restoring balance, when emotion itself segregates the polarity of energy, and basically what happens is the universe is attempting to restore balance when it comes to segregated energy. So how does the universe restore balance when you're going through these emotional traumas? It is attempting to realign the energies by playing with synchronicity. Synchronicity itself is a tool, a utilization program that the universe uses in an attempt to restore balance. So, if by example we're still worrying about financial situations, what happens is that opportunities of synchronicity are going to start showing that then are attempting to get your own attention, to get a realization going. When you realize that there are synchronicities relating to an emotional situation, and you decide to tune into those, and you realize that this situation does have an opportunity to remedy itself, you attain a synchronicity where the energies themselves come back into balance. And that's what the universe does. That's how the universe operates. The universe is not used to having energies segregated by such intense, powerful, energetic separations such as emotion. And so any time that there is a heightened emotional state involved, that becomes the segregation of consciousness, and that one little event is being focused on. Now, if you do have this negative situation, again, looking at the example of financial trouble, what is the idea of the synchronicity? What does the synchronicity bring when you go into realization and you decide to ride that opportunity? Well, it brings in a positive reinforcement. So, we're looking at the idea of positive energy. Now, what is the purpose in regards to positive energy? Well, all positive energy does is it functions as a counterbalance. It's not really the idea that you have to fully live a positive life. Positivity only serves a purpose until the remedy of an imbalanced situation now becomes balanced. When that situation is fully balanced, there is no longer a necessity to remain positive in that situation, because all of the energies that have readjusted itself have now brought it into the 0 point. They've now brought it into a nexus of neutrality. So if you're going through a financial burden, a financial trouble, and you're starting to utilize positive reinforcement, you decided that there's a whole new career that you're ready to try out, you're going to go for it, you have experience with this career, you've submitted resumes, and synchronicity has come and visited you. And here's a job opportunity. You take this job opportunity and you're making some really good money. And now you're able to catch up with any particular bills or any other feelings of financial debt. And now, poof, it starts to reach its balance. The whole idea now is that that particular situation has been remedied. So now it no longer becomes a feeling of burden to yourself. It no longer becomes a misalignment to your own energy. And so this works with all different types of situations, events, and circumstances that are a part of your life as you're going through the awakening, the path to authenticity process. All of these particular situations, all of these events, all of these circumstances, regardless of what they are, that are functioning in a state of negative connotation now have the ability to move themselves back into a positive realignment to counterbalance those forms and bring them back into neutrality. So again, remember, positive energy just serves a purpose in regards to representing a remedy pertaining to negative-based situations. When you are at peace with a situation, there's no need for more positive energy. The whole idea here is that positive energy has been misunderstood. It's the feeling that if something is really, really going sour in our life, we just need to move the other way. We're not going to look at positive energy as a solution. We're going to use positive energy as an escape. Well, this horrible thing is happening to me in my life. Well, just don't look at it, you know. Just look at the other side of the horizon. Just go over there. Don't worry about trying to solve the problem. Just sweep it under the rug and it'll go away. No, it will not go away. Any time that you create a segregation pertaining to energy as something that may be bothering you, something that represents a trauma, something that may be highly dramatic, that is constantly getting your attention over and over and over again, when that situation is not resolved, it will follow you for years and years and years and lifetimes after lifetimes after lifetimes until that situation has been stared at in the face, and being able to acknowledge that that situation exists, taking responsibility for that energy, entering a state of forgiveness that will then bring forward the opportunity for positive reinforcement, and then moving forward into the achievement of liberation. This is how it's done. This is the only way you're ever going to remedy situations that you feel bothered about. They are not going to go away by themselves because they're your creation. You, through perspective, have created these situations. And if you're looking for a remedy, you must be the one to deliver it. Now, other people can assist you. They can certainly help you in regards to their own perspectives. But you don't have to take those perspectives. You're the one that, again, through perspective, initiated this particular form of trauma or this very heavily burdened situation, as it may seem. So you need to ask yourself, what do I feel I can do to open myself up and look at all the situations in my life that I feel are still bothering me, are still causing guilt, are still causing fear, are still causing anger, are still causing despair, but most importantly, are still causing emotional misalignment and unworthiness. You need to see yourself worthy as the solutionist to all problems. That's the key. This is the training when you're moving into these higher states of alignment, when you're moving into higher states of consciousness, becoming a solutionist. Being able to have this bravery, this courage to understand that you are worthy of resolving all situations in your life. You, yourself, have the potential to do anything on this planet. You yourself have the potential to become anything that you wish to be on this planet. You have that potential. But the reason why you haven't got to that level is because you don't believe that you're worthy enough to do it, to do anything. We are very, very transfixed in wanting to help other people out through life. We want to see other people succeed. We want to see how other people are able to look into their own lives and being able to transform that. And we want to feel like that catalyst that helped them transform. Whereas we can do this, that's not really the point. It's not really your mission to change other people, because guess what? You can't. Nobody can change you. You can't change them. The simple fact of why this is because you are the only being in your universe. There are 7 billion other individualistic universes here on this planet. And we're all just melding each other together. We're all working together alongside each other's vibration, but it's still your universe. You are the boss. You are the supreme commander. You are the creator. You are the almighty one, so to speak, when it comes to your universe. And so you're the only one who is able to make change in your life. So when we look at other people and we're able to share and suggest and inspire, that's fantastic. If they decide to take that, that's because it is a vibratory, magnetic match based upon an answer that they decided was appropriate for them. So you're never responsible for anybody else. You're only responsible for yourself. That is the way it has always been. That is the way it will always be. So look into yourself. As you start to transform yourself, as you start to become the example in your life and radiate all this energy out by becoming this example, this is where you are being of assistance to others by just naturally being yourself, by being someone who is empowered, by being someone who feels that they are able to deserve all the wonderful value that's taking place within their life, that's being able to attract situations that they feel they are naturally aligned to. That's it. That's all you really have to do in order for you to transform your life. Now you may be asking, well, Brad, why do other people suffer? Why do people choose to come into this life and feel like they want to starve themselves or feel like they are just completely impoverished, that they just want to throw themselves into the dumpster, as it were. Why does this happen? It's because they have not seen their greatness. They are not understanding the worthiness and the value that they hold. And that we feel we're the ones that need to fix their problems. No, it's not your work. When you leave situations unresolved from another particular life, and you come back incarnationally, back into this life, all of those particular situations, circumstances are reversioned, and they bring themselves back into the alignment of where you left off. You are picking up where you left off. What could not be resolved in spirit stays together with you. And so it's basically just the idea that these particular beings feel that perhaps the start of their life is all about going through a great deal of suffering in order for them to realize that they have the ability to change it. That they're able to go through all these particular states of turmoil and finally reach a breakthrough, where they are able to purify their connections to their own greatness by first understanding what is not making them great, by not understanding their own value. That's their journey. This is what they have personally selected. And this is what they have personally experienced. And this is what they're personally going through in order to transform themselves. In order for you to really understand the purity of what is light and what is love, you need to go through its opposites, so that you are able to fundamentally dip your toe in the water and finding out what pool is too cold, what pool is too hot, and what pool is just right. And that's what you're doing. That's what all of us are doing. We're going through these challenges, we're going through these traumas, we're going through these intense, dramatic situations because we need to understand the purification of what love is by first understanding what it's not. And that's why we're all going through this in all the different ways that we can, regardless of what the circumstances is. Some people do decide to pick the extremes when it comes to trauma. It does feel very disheartening when you look at that. But this is what they have chosen. This is what they are going through personally. And they are the only ones to resolve it. Again, be the beacon of inspiration. Be the example. But realize that they themselves are the ones to transform themselves. What's also very important to understand is that your thoughts are not your own. Every single thought that exists everywhere, wherever we may be, on this planet or wherever else, all thoughts are part of a collective unconscious, or a collective conscious, or a universal library, or the matrix, part of a universal mind. So as we're understanding that at times we may be going through trials and tribulations with situations, it's very, very important to understand that these aren't your situations. These are situations that you have adopted, that you have inherited through yourself based upon the illusion of identity, because you feel that you own the thoughts. You feel that the thoughts are copyrighted, patented, and trademarked by you, and that these are your problems. And it's not clear to you that you're basically going through all of these experiences because you're attempting to gain the fundamental wisdom about how to align yourself, about how to move into that particular point of balance, rather than being emotionally entangled. So basically, understand that the thoughts that are in your mind are borrowed, that you are a magnetic broadcasting tower, that you are attracting all of these particular thought forms within your life because you are in the relationship for these particular thoughts, regardless of what they are, to be a part of yourself. You have attracted them into your life. And that thoughts themselves represent a liquid stream of consciousness. And all we are is the little groove to which the liquid stream is flowing down. But we feel that we want to build a dam in the middle of this stream and hold these particular thoughts of liquid light together and feel that we own it and that we have created this particular dam. And no way are these thoughts going to leave because they belong to me? And this is the greatest trap. This is what creates states of emotional entanglement, whether it's family problems, whether it's relationship problems, whether it's financial problems, whether it's career problems, whatever it may be. All of these problems are here because we felt that we have owned these thoughts, and we don't understand that all thoughts are borrowed, and that all thoughts are meant to continuously stream themselves endlessly throughout ourselves, because it is a borrowing that allows us to have experiences relating to the multiple facets of existence. So, when you feel that you're still going through your personal turmoils, that you may be going through these intense dramatic situations, remember that these dramatic situations that were instituted by thought are just being borrowed, and that you don't own them. You claim no right to them. And basically understand that, wow, I'm able now to go into the state of an observer. I'm observing these particular thoughts right now, and here I am holding on to a lot of these situations, and I'm not allowing synchronicity to pay me a visit and allow these points of realization to take effect so that I can resolve these situations, and so that I'm able to move myself back into a point of neutrality. The universe wants to restore this balance, but I'm constantly holding this back and not allowing realization to kick in. And that's why things continue to get more intense, more intense, more intense. Because if you're not able to notice the subtle reverberations of the energies that are trying to help you in resolving this situation, then those energies are going to be stepped up. You may have nightmares that are very vivid and that could be very scary. If that doesn't work, then it's going to step up to the next level. Things are going to start happening into your reality that could be very extreme, until you realize that all of this is happening because there's an attempt to remedy a situation that's attempting to come through to synchronicity. So please remember that your thoughts are borrowed. You own no thoughts. You own no situations. All you are is spirit. And so it's being able to come into yourselves, to understand the potentialities that you have as an observer, to remedy all emotional entanglements so that you are liberated, so that you can utilize positive reinforcement to bring you back into that state of balance and live your life as a fully empowered being, allowing everything from the universe to come together through you so that you can experience life in the glorious greatness that you yourself deserve. I'm Brad Johnson. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to speak to you again very soon. Take care, namaste, and may it be well with you. Goodbye.